Alright, so one example of where aftermarket isn't always your best friend with getting parts. I have a fan belt issue here with the 685. The old belt that's on, if you went over 1800 RPMs, I heard like a squealing noise. And I wasn't quite sure. I thought maybe something was going wrong. Now that was the old alternator I had on that could have played into it. But this belt is just terrible. The condition, some of it has ripped off. The whole backing has ripped off the belt. It's full of cracks. It's pretty well at the end of its life. I thought maybe I had a water pump issue. I checked that. Everything seemed good there. So this engine actually only has 3 pulleys. You have your crankshaft, your water pump with your fan on it, and your alternator. So the alternator was changed. You saw in one of my past videos the tractor wasn't charging. Now it is with a new alternator. But I still have this squealing noise, and this belt is just shot that's on here. So I ordered an aftermarket belt from an aftermarket company. It came and I put it on, and it was too big. The adjustment here was all the way at the end, and it still wasn't quite tight enough. And when I held the two belts up side by side, the aftermarket one that came was a lot longer. So I don't know what they're what they're selling it for, what application it's for. I don't want to say, I'm not sure the 685s that have a cab with air conditioning. I don't really know offhand how they're set up if you're turning an air conditioning compressor. But this is long, too long by about an inch. That's a Goodyear belt. So I had to go back to the dealer and get the actual part number for the 685 CNH, made in Romania. So this was $28 for the correct belt for this tractor, versus this was $6, $7 aftermarket. I probably could have taken this belt to like an auto supply store and told them I just need something about an inch shorter, and it probably would have been cheaper. But what are you gonna do? For you figure a fan belt, if you don't have any oil leaking up front, a fan belt's gonna last you how many years on the tractor? So I just got it from my local dealer, and gonna put it on here and see, make sure it fits. I did have it out of the packaging, and it is shorter than this one. So, and this is about one of the easier jobs to do, just by loosening up this top bolt. And the alternator is your tensioner for the belt. It's just more or less getting it around the fan. I don't bother taking the hoods off. I'll just squeeze my hands in there and get it on. So let's see if it works. All right, so pretty straightforward here. You just loosen the top bolt for your adjustment, push the alternator in. The way the shroud is, it's very tight to get the old fan belt out. The only place that you can get it out is directly at the top. So you squeeze your hands in and you turn the fan and take the belt off each fan blade and pull it out the side here. Now this fan has 5 blades on it, so you get the 5 blades out and you should be good. Here's the old belt. Can kind of see, find one of the more bad spots. Yeah, right there you can see that this was the backing that was originally on it, and now it's worked its way off. And you can see the cracking in the belt. It's time to change it. This was on for a while. So I held the two belts up side by side to get the length, and they are almost identical. So I know this $28 belt, you're welcome CNH, this $28 belt will work. You see it's a little bit wider diameter, or diameter, width, but that should still work with the pulleys on the tractor, because I think this old one, I don't know if this was a case belt. There's 3,200 hours on the tractor. I don't know if this belt is original, but to put this on, it's the same deal. Put it in, get it up to the top, and slip it over the 5 blades and 3 pulleys, and you're good to go. So let's try it. All right, it's on, and it's an example of why a quick 10-minute job can always turn into something more. This is an aftermarket alternator, and it came with this pulley. And this being a little bit thicker belt, it is the correct width for the water pump and the crankshaft, but unfortunately this pulley that they give you with the alternator that came with it, it's not deep enough for the belt. The belt is kind of riding on top of it. Could probably run it this way, but it's just going to wear out the belt prematurely. The old pulley that was on the old alternator was deeper than this one. So I'm guessing I'm going to have to take that alternator off, get the pulley off, and put the old pulley back on to make this work. This belt is a little bit shorter actually than the other one, but it still works and gives you plenty of adjustment there. So I probably have 3-4 inches that that belt can wear and adjust over time. So yeah, back to the drawing board. All right, so if you've never taken a pulley off of an alternator, it's very simple. You have the nut on the end of the shaft. A lot of you guys is common sense, but get the right socket that fits on. It's best if you put the alternator itself in a vise. I put a pair of gloves on, just kind of hold steady this, and take your air wrench, and that nut will come right off. You don't have to bear down or hold it real tight, just have some heavy gloves on. Your air wrench is going to spin fast enough to get this nut off. So it's pretty well 100% success rate for me anyway. You know, one weird thing about it being 92 degrees on September 25th. You guys see how hazy it is. I mean, this is like August heat. The sun is strong, but I don't hear any birds. In the summertime, you always hear birds in the background, but I don't know if they all migrated already or what the deal is. Maybe it's too hot for them. It's just odd how quiet it is, how hot it is too. So it's getting dry. It's denting. It's starting. There's dents in the kernels, but still can feel some moisture there. So a couple weeks yet. Stay tuned.